Hello there, you're now watching TVS News at 5 with me, Muhammad Yusuf. Let us begin with our top story. The search and rescue operations for the missing crew members of a sand dredger ship in Cebu was fruitful on day 2 as Bomba found one of the missing crew. He is identified as Tingling and was found alive at about 2:30 p.m. 5 meters away from the Bomba control post at Jetty Bungan Kecil. So far, 4 out of 5 were successfully rescued from the sunken vessel off Batang Igan on Sunday, June 26. The SAR for the remaining crew, who is in his 20s, resumes. AGRO labs in rural area allows for innovative and participative research, development and activities that use multidisciplinary approaches and promote the co-creation paradigm, while creating environments that enable equal opportunities and making rural areas attractive places to live in. However, the greater task is to change the mindset and perception of the people. Therefore, University Malaysia Sarawak, or UNIMAS, has been tasked to set up AGRO labs to attract the younger generation to modern agriculture.
Abang Johari stated that Sarawak, through UNIMAS and other local institutions and government agencies, has the capability to provide new technology to help the community. He told the press after gracing UNIMAS commemorative convocation on Monday, June 27. To achieve the goal of being a net exporter of food products by 2030, the Premier has identified several locations in rural areas to establish the AGRO labs. Besides that, he is also welcoming international investors who face insufficient space in their homeland to carry out their agriculture ventures in Sarawak.
An unemployed man was arrested for hiding a total of 700 kilograms of KETUM leaves in a lorry. The 35-year-old suspect from Kedah was arrested by Battalion 12 General Operations Force PGA Pengkalan Cepa at Kampung Lalang Pepuyu in Kelantan at 10:15 a.m. It was believed that the man attempted to smuggle the illicits into Thailand as the country recently legalized recreational use of the hallucination-inducing plant.
A simple drug test showed that the suspect has traces of methamphetamine and held 2 previous criminal records for drug abuse. On the same day, a second raid was conducted, seizing a total of 2,994 yab appeals from a mechanic based in Kampong Bendang, Pulau Intumpat. Other illegal items seized during the 11:30 p.m. raid were 3.7 grams of shabu, 500 millimeters of KETUM juice, and a hatchback car. Dato Muhammad Zaki Harun, the acting Kelantan police chief, stated that the total value of all the seized items are 60,200 ringgit. The mechanic has 6 criminal records. The 6 days ops stoppists have successfully seized a total of 98,555 ringgit worth of drugs, where 240 individuals were arrested.
The victim, who is believed to have slipped and fallen into a lake on Sunday, was found dead. Terry Leon Zijun, 13, was found afloat by his family member past midnight earlier today. The body was later handed to the police for further action. Following the discovery of the victim's body, the search operation was called off at 1 a.m. A post-mortem is scheduled to take place this week to determine the cause of his death.
According to Sarikei Fire and Rescue Department Bomba Chief, the body of the victim was found near the excavator at around 12:30 a.m. after a 2-hour pause in the search and rescue operation due to poor visibility.
Bomba difahamkan ketika kejadian mangsa mandi bersama rakannya sebelum dilaporkan tenggelam. Ketika itu rakannya cuba untuk menyelamatkan mangsa namun gagal. Rakan mangsa kemudian memaklumkan kejadian tersebut kepada keluarga mangsa. Mereka cuba untuk mencari namun hanya menjumpai selepah mangsa di tepi tasik itu sebelum menghubungi pihak bomba untuk mendapatkan bantuan. Kita bergegas ke lokasi jurus dengan panggilan kecemasan pada jam 20.35 malam untuk melakukan SAR ataupun mencari dan menyelamat, tetapi gagal menemui keberadaan mangsa sehingga operasi ditangguhkan pada jam 22.30 malam. Bagaimanapun kita menerima panggilan dari Balai Polis Serikit pada 12.30 tengah malam memaklumkan mangsa telah dijumpai ditasik oleh ahli keluarga.
Bantuan Keluarga Malaysia (BKM) would benefit 12.6 million individuals, equivalent to 60% of adults in Malaysia. The number of BKM recipients increased to 8.6 million compared to Bantuan Rakyat Satu Malaysia or BRIM and Bantuan Sara Hidup (BSH) with 4.5 million recipients. This is due to the raised eligibility limit from household income below 5,000 ringgit under BKM as compared to the BSH. The allocated 8 billion ringgit cash assistance under BKM is the largest direct cash assistance in the country's history.
Finance Minister Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul Aziz said with additional assistance worth 630 million ringgit under BKM Phase 2, positioning BKM as the highest financial aid compared to the previous Bantuan Rakyat Satu Malaysia BRIM and Bantuan Sara Hidup BSH. Comparatively, the maximum BKM rate is 2,600 ringgit compared with BRIM 1,200 ringgit and BSH 1,480 ringgit, an increase of 120% since the Direct Cash Assistance Initiative was first introduced. He added that the Finance Ministry could continue to monitor external factors that could hurt the domestic economic situation to ensure the cost of living of the people is under control. On June 22nd, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob announced additional cash assistance under the BKM of 100 ringgit for households and 50 ringgit for single individuals after the government took into account the rising cost of living and the recent increase in food prices. Additionally, BKM Phase 2 will be paid in stages to eligible recipients starting today and will benefit 4 million households, 1.2 million senior citizens and 3.4 million single individuals.
Welcome back. Now, the protests against Ecuador's government may halt oil production due to continued acts of vandalism, oil well takeovers and road closures. According to its Minister of Energy and Mines, Xavier Vera, production may cease within 48 hours. The past 2 weeks of protests have led to a significant decline in oil production, more than 1.3 million barrels, incurring big losses for the Ecuadorian state oil company Petroecuador. About 1,176 oil wells were forced to close, 996 belonging to Petroecuador. The protest is considered the largest protest by the indigenous South American country, which is demanding a series of economic and social concessions from the government. So far, 5 deaths have been recorded while a dozen others have been injured in the protests. Leading Democrats sought to turn Friday's Supreme Court decision, which is disabling women's rights to abortion, into a rallying cry for the November elections. This could bring grim consequences for women, contraception, and same-gender marriage if Republicans regain control of Congress. Dakota's Governor Kristi Noem, however, supports the conservative ruling by the Supreme Court.
What I would say is this was wonderful news in the defense of life. Every life is precious. South Dakota had a statute on the books that said that abortion would be illegal except to save the life of a mother should Roe v. Wade be overturned. And so that is how it stands here today. Look at the fact that what the Supreme Court did was fix a wrong decision that was made many years ago and now give the power back to the states. What they said is that the Constitution does not guarantee a right to an abortion.
Meanwhile, Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren said the Supreme Court has lost its legitimacy and said Democrats need to take action to increase the number of justices to prevent the court's conservative majority from instituting further restrictions.
The whole idea is that women are not second-class citizens, and the government is not the one that will decide about the continuation of a pregnancy. You know, there's no equivalent there for men. So what we believe is that access to abortion, like other medical procedures, should be available across the board to all people in this country.
In a 5-4 ruling powered by its conservative majority, the High Court overturned the 1973 landmark decision that had recognized a woman's right to an abortion and had legalized it nationwide for nearly half a century. The decision was greeted as a stunning victory by anti-abortion Republicans and other conservatives, while Democrats and abortion rights activists protested what they described as a step backwards for the rights of American women. But with control of the House of Representatives and the Senate at stake in the November 8th midterm elections, Democrats also warned that the rights of women and others would face further dangers if Republicans regain control of Congress. Wrapping up news at 5, a nearly perfect mummified baby woolly mammoth was found by miners digging for gold in Yukon, Canada on June 21st. The news was only published days after its discovery by the Yukon government and Trondack-Huichin, a First Nation band government. After the discovery, members of the Trondack-Huichin, scientists, Yukon government officials, and miners participated in a ceremony in which they prayed as the animal was unveiled from a tarp and blessed by the elders. The female mammoth was named Nunchoga, which means big baby animal in the Han language. According to the news release, the discovery of Nunchoga is notable because it is the first near-complete and best-preserved woolly mammoth discovered in North America. Yukon paleontologist Dr. Grant Zazula said it is a lifelong dream to come face-to-face with the extinct animal, while Trondack-Huichin Chief Roberta Joseph said the First Nation would work closely with Canadian officials. CBC reported that Nunchoga, who is about 140 centimeters long, was probably 30 to 35 days old when she died, according to Zazula. Geologists from the Yukon Geological Survey and the University of Calgary believe Nunchoga died and was frozen in the permafrost during the Ice Age over 30,000 years ago. See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates, both locally and internationally, just a click away by heading on to our website at www.tvstv.my or follow us on our social media platforms. That's all the time we have for TVS News at 5. I'm Mohammed Yusuf. Thank you for watching and have a good day.